Welcome to Everyday Physics Survival, where our stick hero tries to outsmart the most stubborn roommate on Earth reality. The rules are simple and merciless. No cartoon shortcuts, no middle U-turns, no pausing gravity with a wink. A tiny HUD floats beside him, showing force, energy, and body temp like a fitness tracker designed by a lab coat. He waves, trips on nothing, and meets static friction, the pettiest gatekeeper alive. Free body doodles pop up. Weight down, normal, up, friction, sideways. The crowd laughs. The equations take notes. Breakfast time. Toast pops up, and so does a question: how hard? Does the counter push back? Our HUD sketches a neat stack. Gravity pulls the Stickman. The table pushes equal and opposite, and the toast obeys momentum like a buttery lawyer. He reaches too fast, overshoots, and the plate slides because Mu S gave way to Mu K. He adjusts, lowers acceleration, and regains control. Lesson 1. Finesse beats force. When friction has trust issues, the day will be long. Coffee is kinetic energy in a mug. Out on the street, he meets the first mini-boss. A crosswalk in the rain. The ground says slippery. The HUD mutters required friction greater than available, and his sneakers negotiate a ceasefire. He shortens strides, drops his center of mass, and extends contact time to spread impulse. The umbrella flips inside out, proving drag loves drama. Our doodle overlay shows air pushing with a V-squared attitude, and his smirk collapses into a wind tunnel frown. He re-angles the canopy like a wing and finds a survivable lane through the gusts. At the bus stop, a rogue skateboard rolls by. He lunges, learns momentum, cares nothing for hero arcs, and rides the board backward like a budget physicist. The HUD prints P equals MV, while shoes squealed for traction. He pivots, turning translation into rotation torque arrows bloom. The board spins, and the crowd gasps. He steps off clean, momentum redirected, ankles intact. Somewhere a textbook nods. He bows to the camera and pockets the victory like a well-earned coefficient. Elevator! Time! He feels heavier on the way up and lighter on the way down because apparent weight follows acceleration like gossip. Our doodle draws normal force bigger than weight, then smaller, while his face does the same with confidence. A kid asks if gravity turned off. He whispers, not to adjust, taking a coffee break. The HUD shows a smooth AT curve as floors tick past. When the doors open, he exits with a new respect for frame-dependent feelings. Escalator appears, hissing like a metallic python. Boss music cues softly. Before we fight, we train. He tests a barbell to understand work versus power. Same stair height, different speeds, totally different burn. The HUD tracks watts, and his pride learns about oxygen debt. He practices foot placement, how to angle the umbrella to shunt airflow, and how to time steps so moving stairs don't desync his rhythm. Tutorials complete. Inventory! 1 umbrella, 2 wobbly calves, 0 fear pen. He detours through a revolving door where angular momentum is king. Push too late and it pushes back. Push with the panel's tangential sweet spots and it glides. Our overlay throws tau equals R times F on the screen like a cheat sheet. He times the shove, hops in clean, and exits with the elegance of a budget spy. Physics isn't trying to embarrass him. It just wants proper footnotes. He nods, promises citations, and re-enters the storm with upgraded dignity. A street vendor's helium balloons offered an illegal shortcut to flight, tempting, but buoyancy demands volume, not vibes. The HUD runs numbers. Displaced air weight must match his own. 20 balloons is cute. 2,000 is newsworthy. He settles for a science party trick, lifting a backpack to prove the point, then hands the strings back like a responsible cartoon adult. Lift is negotiable. Consequences are not. The vendor claps. Our hero keeps walking. The wind tunnels between buildings. A sneaky Venturi effect. Narrow gap, faster flow. Bigger drag his umbrella, starts acting like a rebellious sail. He lowers the angle of attack, lets some air spill, and repositions behind a truck to draft. On-screen arrows show pressure zones like comic thought bubbles. Pedestrian stare. The HUD doesn't care. When a gust tries to yoink him sideways, static friction and a low stance hold the line. Small step, big control, 0, slapstick. Inside a mall atrium, the floor turns smooth and shiny. Friction goes on vacation. Our Stickman experiments. Shorter strides, softer landings, and micro pivots to keep the required moo below the available moo. The umbrella becomes a third contact point to monopod stabilizer. Doodles draw a tripod of forces closing into a stable polygon. He slides once, converts the near fall into a roll, and pops up like he meant it. People applaud. He bows to kinetic energy for not invoicing extra. Hydration break. He sips from a bottle and meets fluid dynamics in a plastic spiral. He spins the water and watches a miniature vortex form, an axis of dignity in a chaotic day. Surface tension clings to the rim. Capillary waves stroll across like models on a tiny runway. The HUD throws Reynolds' number into the chat and nobody leaves. He smiles at the camera. Water teaches patience. Air teaches humility. Physics nods, pretending it wasn't listening. The escalator looms now, a staircase that moves just enough to ruin your confidence. Boss fight begins. Phase 1. Boarding under crosswind. He plants the umbrella windward as a drag brake, steps onto the comb plate with hips stacked over ankles, and matches step velocity to avoid that awkward double. Doodles pop. Normal up, weight down, friction, forward. The HUD hovers green. Crowd cheers. The escalator hisses. Phase 2 unlocks. Phase 2. Crosswind spikes. The umbrella threatens a Mary Poppins lawsuit. He chokes up on the handle to reduce moment arm, keeping torque within his ankles. Credit limit. He leans into the wind. Not away. Trading ego for stability. The HUD sketches a tidy sum of moments around his center of mass. The angle looks small but decisive. Breath steady. Feet drum. A rhythm. The escalator recognizes a worthy opponent and increases the incline with corporate indifference. Phase 3. Incoming shoppers create lateral impacts random impulses with bad timing. Our Stickman anticipates collisions, softens joints to spread tea, and turns hits into glancing blows. He shifts a half step to align with handrail speed, reducing shear between body and belt. The HUD flashes impulse managed like a game achievement. Someone stumbles behind him. He bresses, shares momentum, and prevents a domino tragedy. Physics grants temporary plot armor to the considerate. Near the top, landing. Classic trap. Umbrella tips into the handrail gap. He rotates the canopy parallel to motion, cutting snags. Free body doodles show a sleek profile as drag relaxes. He crouches slightly to lower the center of mass before the step transition. No, last second, he'll bite today. The comb plate arrives. He steps off with a moving belt and converts forward speed into a tidy stop. Zero drama. Maximum tutorial. The escalator dings. Boss down. Loot! Wisdom! And a slightly bent umbrella. Outside again! Clouds break. Sunlight turns streets into a convection lesson. Heat shimmers. The HUD reports rising skin temp, and sweat becomes a heat pump stealing energy by evaporation. He seeks shade to cut radiant load, sips water to refill coolant, and slows pace to keep power within budget. Endurance, he says to camera, is just energy accounting with better shoes. A small breeze returns as a friend instead of a bully. The umbrella retires with honors. He borrows a bike for the final commute. At low speed, balance is spicy. At higher speed, gyroscopic and trail effects team up. He learns counter steer. Push right to go right, a move that feels like trolling until it works. The HUD draws angular momentum as crisp arrows. Hands hover over brakes, eyes scan for potholes, and his smile graduates from theory to praxis. The city flows under his wheels. Physics stops feeling like paperwork and starts feeling like music. Evening finds him on a quiet hill with a cardboard glider. He knows he won't fly mass, an area refused but control beats He runs, feels lift nibble at the edges, and rides a brief, honest glide. The HUD whispers about angle of attack and stall, and he lands into a roll that treats bones like a limited edition. On screen! Try tomorrow with a better wing. Off screen. The wind agrees. He laughs at how gentle survival looks when rules are respected. Home at last, he boils pasta and watches bubbles rehearse a fluid mechanics opera. Steam fogs the lens. He wipes it and grins. The day's doodles flip through like postcards. Friction scowls, momentum smirks, buoyancy shrugs, drag gossips. He survived not by cheating, but by collaborating, negotiating with forces like a diplomat with sore calves. The HUD fades to a soft heartbeat. Somewhere, an escalator sulks. Somewhere else, a viewer Googles, why Moo, S greater than Moo K. Credits roll as he writes one line on a sticky note. Reality isn't the enemy. It's the editor. Under it, a checklist for tomorrow. Stairs, subway, storm drain, rooftop garden, maybe a kite. He sticks the note to the door, hangs the umbrella like a retired sword, and turns off the lights. In the dark, little vectors drift across the screen like fireflies, still labeling things, still telling the truth. Our hero yawns. Physics doesn't sleep, but it does allow naps.